keeping along this theme of decision-making, adaptability, and problem-solving, I want to discuss empty hand versus knife. So when I feed like number one, Oliver has a set technique that he wants to do. If I feed number two, a backhand, he has another set technique. I feed number three, all right, number four, and number five. I don't know what Oliver's going to do. I don't even know if Oliver knows what he's going to do, all right, but he has maybe some prescribed set techniques that he loves to do against these particular angles of attack. And we call this block training, where it's just monotonous training where I'm just feeding him these same angles of attack over and over and over. And yes, you know, arguably, Oliver is working on muscle memory and he's working on his fundamentals. But real fights don't really happen like this. And you know, our goal is to get as close as possible to a real fight with safety in mind. We can't use real blades, right? So Oliver is learning the basics, but he's not really getting much out of it. He's not learning how to make the right decisions. He's not working on problem solving. There's no adaptability on his part. So what I want to do now is make this more challenging for Oliver. And how can I make this more challenging for Oliver is I can start feeding up the angles of attack. And Oliver has a wide variety of background in college, Filipino Martial Arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, and Krav Maga. So I just want him to basically defend. In this case, I'm looking at goal-oriented training. I just don't want him to get cut, or he doesn't want to get cut. So I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he doesn't even know what he's going to do, but he's going to try to adapt to the situation. So in a controlled manner, I'm going to feed any of those attacks. Good. Awesome. Okay, so now I want to make this much more challenging for Oliver. How can I make this challenging? I have the luxury of switching hands. And this is the fault I see with a lot of the Filipino martial arts or all training, is that typically we feed as if we're a right-handed person all the time. But there are left-handed people out there in the world. So I could change this up now by just switching to my left hand and feeding those same angles from a left-handed person's perspective. And now we're going to start seeing things start to change up now. Maybe some of the techniques are not as clean, right? Because maybe Oliver hasn't trained that much with a left-handed person. Yeah, so now I can feed up the angles now. I can change it up. And he's just trying different things. It's just goal-oriented training. Again, he's not trying to get cut here. This is a little bit much harder for Oliver now, and a little bit more realistic, because now he's got to problem solve, make some decisions, and he's got to adapt against a left-handed person. I can level up even higher now. I can go back to right-handed, and I could choose when I want to switch hands. Is it possible I could change hands during a fight? Yes, it is. Nice. Good. Now, remember, like, we're trying to get to as realism as possible. Oliver's not hitting me as hard as he can. Maybe the fight would have ended a long time ago if he punched me in the face or kicked me in the groin. We don't really know. So this is still a little bit more academic, but we're getting closer to realism, right? I can level up even more. I can add fakes. Awesome. Good. So where's all that clean martial arts techniques? All right, it's somewhere in there, but the most important lesson for Oliver here is, can he adapt? Can he adapt? Can he solve the problem versus a left-handed person? Is he making the right decisions? All right, and this is exactly what we want to see from Oliver. I want to challenge him. I don't just want to keep doing like 1, 2, 3, et cetera, et cetera. That's really easy training for Oliver. Not to say he'll never ever do that or it's not valuable, but sooner or later, when he knows the fundamentals, he's got to start playing the sport. So we want to get to close as realism as possible with safety in mind. And we do that by adding these variables so that he has to adapt, work on his decision and problem-solving skills.